Today we're going to cover the 5 big differences between an alpha and a beta hero, so you can help decide which one you want to put in your book and maybe how best to portray them. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa, best-selling co-author of the Snow and Her Seven Seals series, and on this channel we talk all about romance writing, specifically for newbie and aspiring romance authors. So if this sounds like you or something you might be interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday. Today we're going to talk about the 5 big criteria between alpha versus beta heroes. Now, let's just talk about the definition. The classical one is alpha is a strong, arrogant, pompous, like hugely self-confident guy running around just doing whatever he wants because he's all about himself, so he's kind of a little selfish, versus the beta hero, which is more sensitive, more caring. He puts others before himself. So if you were to think about classic literature, so first let's just think of some good examples. The character Christian Grey in 50 Shades is definitely alpha, and you'll pretty much find that anytime you read BDSM and someone's the master and someone's the servant, the master is obviously the alpha. Versus Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy is the quintessential definition of a beta hero. So there is nothing wrong, I really want to emphasize this, with choosing a beta hero in your book versus an alpha. So the beta hero is just as lovable and adorable and somebody that your audience will fall in love with, as well as the alpha. And again, there's nothing wrong with the alpha. I know sometimes they get a bad rap, especially when we've been talking about putting more consent in books. Number 2 is problems. When your heroine has a problem, your alpha hero will simply just bulldoze over it. So let's say she has a problem at work. He will simply buy that company and problem solved. He owns the company now. She can be CEO. Versus your beta usually isn't as powerful and rich. And so instead, he will use his feelings and he will talk you through your issues. He'll coach you. He'll maybe help you edit your resume as a way to help you cope with this particular problem. The third area is their sexual prowess. So the alpha is just running around sleeping with everybody because he doesn't care. He's not trying to be mean. That's just who he is. And until he finds the one, he's not going to be faithful or even think about settling down. Versus the beta is only having sex in loving and caring monogamous relationships, and sometimes it's perceived that he is not as sexually experienced, but you don't necessarily have to follow that rule, versus the alpha, who just kind of obviously from tons of practice and experience always knows what to do in every situation when it comes to stuff in the bedroom. Now, the fourth area is really trying to impose your own will upon the heroine. So the alpha is going to just do what he wants. He's going to bulldoze over the feelings of his heroine or whatever she wants or cares about because his desires and his wants and needs are more important. So the beta, though, will always put the other person first. So a good example of this is in the Vampire Diaries. I think it was the end of season 3 when Elena and Matt are trapped in a lake. They've just had a car accident. They've flown off the bridge and they have been trapped under there for a while. Not a lot of oxygen left. And Matt's unconscious. Elena's still conscious, but she's running out of air. Stefan, who is a beta hero, comes down into the truck and he's about to save Elena. And she says, no, save Matt first. He doesn't want to, but because he's putting her feelings and her considerations first, he does as she wants and she dies. Don't worry, she comes back to life. But when when Damon hears about this, who is the alpha hero, he gets mad. He said, why would you do that? Who cares what she wants? Just save her anyway. So in that situation, the alpha would just impose his will upon the heroine regardless of her feelings versus the beta who would listen. Number 5 is on what they want, so their goal. So sometimes in a story, a movie, whatever, the alpha and his goal and what he wants will overpower everything else to the point where it doesn't even matter. So you see this a lot in tropes of, say, enemies to lovers, where the alpha is just sort of butting heads with the heroine to try to get his goal met. Versus in a beta hero, there will be more of a friends to lovers trope. So they're working together, they're trying to help each other, they're friendly, he's the best friend, he's the sidekick. You're not even sure if they're going to end up together romantically. That is more of what's going on with his goals and his wants. They always seem to take a back seat to other people's feelings and their needs. All right, so let's recap that list really quick. The first one is, we just went over a really good example. Christian Grey is alpha, Mr. Darcy is beta. The second one is how they deal with problems. Alpha will just buy out the whole company or whatever your problem is, versus the beta, which will talk you through some different solutions. Number 3 is in the bedroom, and the alpha is just everywhere, sowing his wild oats. And once he meets his true love, he will obviously stop, because only one woman could get through to this kind of guy, versus the beta, who is having monogamous and loving relationships with and only having sex with those women. Number 4 is imposing your will. So I use that example of Elena and Damon and Stefan, and what they're going to do based on a particular situation. And it would always be the beta putting the other person's feelings first, versus the alpha, who doesn't care and is just going to impose what he wants onto the heroine. And then number 5 is in terms of their goals. The alpha definitely has the trope of the enemies to lovers, because he's usually always going after his goal, regardless of whatever she wants, versus the beta, which is usually more of a friends to lovers trope, because they're working together and it's more important for him to help her along and take her feelings and needs into consideration. So that is it in a nutshell. There are tons of other ways to differentiate alphas and betas, but I just wanted to give you 5 to start you off. And I should mention, there is this other thing called a gamma hero. I personally don't believe in a gamma hero, but it is defined as someone who is strong and powerful, but not arrogant. So basically a hybrid between the alpha and beta. In my opinion, pick a side and go with it. Don't try to make this fake gamma that doesn't honestly ring true. An alpha is never 100% alpha. He's going to have some moments of, emotional vulnerability. And the same thing for the beta. He's going to be able to shine and come through and be really strong in different situations. So in that sense, everybody's kind of a gamma hero. Now, that is going to make a more complex, multi-dimensional character than a true 100% alpha, 100% beta. So I don't believe in gammas, even though they're out there, just so you know about it. All right, let me know if that was helpful. Also, leave some tips below on what you think the differences are between alphas and betas. I hope everyone's having a fabulous day, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.